Good day, everybody. This is E. Marcel Pertut, and welcome to another edition of the Original Free Kick. On this edition of the show, we're going to have the audio and video from Atlanta United player Alexey Miranchuk and interim manager Rob Valentino as the team gets ready to host Inter Miami in the first round of the MLS playoffs. And before we delve into that, make sure that you go to the mothership, thesportsinquirer.net, premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can see archives of our content, including video and audio from Georgia State men's soccer coach Brett Sorensen and women's soccer head coach Ed Joyce from the team as they are continuing to progress through Sun Belt Conference play. You can also go to our social media platforms on Twitter/X, Instagram, and Facebook. Make sure you go there, look us up at TN Marcel Pertut or the Sports Inquirer. And finally, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our audio and video host, which include YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and more. Just make sure you go on there, search us, and you'll really like the content that we have going on. Atlanta United does host Inter Miami in the first round of the MLS playoffs on November 2nd. There is a best of three first round. Atlanta fell at Miami a few days ago and are now playing game two. And a strong effort by Atlanta, but unable to come out with the victory. So let's get right to Alexei's comments, and then we will then transition to Rob and conclude this edition of the show. Enjoy.
Your career at Atlanta and other clubs, what is the number one thing y'all have to do on Saturday to stay alive this season?
Definitely have to, first of all, you have to enjoy yourself to play a game like this. So not every week you play a game against this type of player, this type of team. And of course you have to be focused. There's a lot of attention, a lot of, everything is pretty much going on. So you gotta be enjoying this type of game.
What do you think y'all did well in game one?
I think we did pretty good defensively, even though we conceded 2 goals, but we were compact, we were together, and what we have to do better, to be more patient on the ball, to be aggressive, and trying to play transition game.
You now have 11 games, I think, in Major League Soccer. I think is right.
I said.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
How have you found the league? How are you adjusting?
Just well. League is not so easy as you might think, but I'm trying to enjoy myself, trying to help my team, and yeah, I like it.
You've had different strikers playing in front of you, different guys on the left wing. Has that been a challenge for you to kind of, because you're trying to learn the teammates, but you're also having to learn almost a different teammate every game?
So your question is with who I'm.
It's when you're not able to play with the same teammates every match. How does that?
It's not really. It's
okay.
not a problem.
Okay.
We, of course, every player has their own strength, but I mean, keep training with the guys every day, and you can see who has their own strength.
Okay.
How much better do you and your teammates feel after some days off physically?
Oh, it's definitely needed. After 3 days, 2 days off, like everything was like hurting, or you feel not so great. Everything is gone, and you feel ready. You feel like to go.
I'd love to get your perspective on your captain, Brad Gazan, and how you've seen his leadership impact the team in these moments.
It's definitely, you can see every game. Great guy, great player. as I said before, this type of player has to be in the team, and they help really a lot.
How do you qualify your performance these, let's say, like 4 months in here in Atlanta United? Your performance, your
4 months.
performance.
Yes.
So how do you qualify? Come valuti a tua prestazione na squadra?
Italian? Poco. I mean, I feel great. I'm more comfortable with my teammates, with the player, and I understand more the league. So I enjoy so far. So I feel great.
What's your favorite Halloween candy?
You mean because in my country we don't celebrate.
You don't celebrate Halloween?
Yeah, so my first Halloween. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what you guys doing this day, but yeah.
All right.
Are you looking forward to being possibly a sold out crowd, your first home playoff game? Excited about that?
Definitely. This is what we need. And like I said, not every game you play against this team in the stadium gonna be full 70,000 or behind our back. So we need them, and yeah, looking forward to it.
With the way Inter Miami plays, how are you going to try to exploit and find some pockets for you to get an open opportunity to try and create the spark on the offense?
Yeah, we're playing against team that who has more possession than us, but we gotta be more how to say more. I forgot the word. Patient, more patient. Easy word, but I forgot. We have to be more patient, and then I have to have ability to help my teammates in defense, and then trying to find the space in between the zone, and yeah, playing behind their back.
Have you been practicing penalty kicks because it could be a possibility of this game ends up in the tide and
You mean myself or team?
the team and yourself?
Not really. I think like against Montreal.
Montreal, yes.
Against Montreal,
You did very
everybody
well. Yes.
did pretty well, and with the confidence. So, but we're looking to win in the 90 minutes.
All right, and that was Alexey previewing the Miami contest. Team just wants to come out and get the victory. Very interesting approach. He ended on about the 90 minutes in the first round of the MLS playoffs. If there is a tie after 90 minutes, they go straight to penalties, no extra time. So there is a strategy with that. But as we saw with Atlanta in the play-in game to get into the playoffs, they are very successful in the shootouts or penalty kick portion of the competition. Let's get to Rob Valentino, interim manager of Atlanta United, as the team looks back on their performance against Miami in the first leg of this first round series and preparing to host Inter Miami on November 2nd.
Dream and we'll go from there. So kind of somebody smarter than me will make that decision. But he won't be out. He'll be out for the rest of the playoffs.
And Steve Gregerson, we saw him working by himself.
Yeah, well, he was with the trainers. He's day to day, so just keep assessing him every day, see how he's feeling. Obviously, him being on the field shows good signs, but I don't know what that'll actually look like. So we'll give him the time that he needs, and we'll assess as the next day shows up.
How would definitely not having Brooks and possibly not having Steen affect your decision on the formation and the tactics?
Yeah, I mean, there are two players that have played. I mean, I have to fact check with Brooks. He's played a good majority of the minutes. Dion recently has played a lot of minutes when he's been healthy. So they're two players that we've relied on heavily. They'll affect obviously shape and tactics. There'll be different personnel that'll have to play those positions. We've been trying to make the best and most pragmatic decisions as games have approached anyways. Assessing how obviously the game went in Miami, also with the short rest. Like we're trying not to use that as an excuse, but it was something that was a factor. But also looking at how the game played out when we did change the shape and what personnel we used in those moments and how that can be best effective in the next game.
I had because by my count, 4 goals this season. I think when y'all were in the kind of the back 5, the 3 at Fort Lauderdale and the 1 in the first half of game 2, versus the 2 scored in game 2. I didn't know if there was a preference based upon those results or what.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to look at what's best available for the game, what personnel will work. Like we just look at that part of it now. But yeah, some of that data comes into play in the stats that can help for sure. But ultimately, it's the personnel that we will fit into the places that they'll play in the game.
And we've seen Ronald training. I know he missed the last game because of an illness. Is he 100%?
Yeah, he's back 100%.
And is there pressure in this game, or is it just, we can just go play and try to win?
I mean, the internal pressure that we put on ourselves, it should be there every day, whether it's training, whether it's a game. I think that's, I said it a long time ago, and it's a quote that pops around, but like the pressure is a privilege for us that we're in a position to have this kind of pressure to play in a big game. But yeah, I mean, we've been playing like this for a while. We're exactly where we wanted to be. We wanted to be in the playoffs. We wanted to be fighting to stay alive. So yeah, we know we're playing against a fantastic team, but we're really looking forward to the challenge on Saturday in front of our home fans. Like that's a big boost for everybody.
What adjustments after this first game, after Miami? You see you have possession. We know the personnel. How does that change your game plan coming into game 2 now that you faced them and seen what they've done?
I think we obviously knew the personnel they would have. They've got decisions to make whether they stay with the same lineup or they've got a plethora of options off the bench as well the night when we played them. For us, the big part about it was resting and recovering. The amount of travel that we had, the amount of minutes a lot of guys played, the pressure that was in those games to really post something. So it was that part was really important. So now it was about, okay, we played one game, even with that short rest, we were under severe pressure for sure. So now we have to look at how we can be better to not have as much pressure on us and to do better with the ball probably is a big emphasis. And also to be organized defensively and stop the chances that they do create, which they've done all year to any opponent, no matter the shape and because of the players they do have. So the rest and recovery were the biggest things to then take into this next game and be ready to go with 100% on Saturday.
What were the sensations of the team after the game that you ended up losing, but you showed up a very well played game, even though you had to do 2 substitutions and you ended up doing 2 more in the half?
Yeah, I think they were exhausted. I think the good thing that they were really disappointed that they thought, obviously they knew they battled hard, they knew the game was difficult. Brad was fantastic, but then also Brad made fantastic saves, but everybody else around it gave everything they could to try to make it easier for Brad. Now whether we did or not, it's debatable, but these guys put in a huge effort with everything that they went through, and I think that they were proud of themselves. If I'm speaking for them, but I was proud of them in that way. But now we've got the rest, we've got the recovery. Now the challenge is new. It's a new challenge, and now we go after it hopefully with more rest, more recovery, and 100% ready to go.
What is the confidence of the team? I mean, we just spoke with Alexey. He said he plans to end up that game in the 90 minutes, not going to it. How is that sensation?
Yeah, I think they're in a good spot. I mean, this is where they wanted to be. The way we got here was probably not how everybody drew it up, but the resilience in the team to keep fighting, to keep showing up every day. I think that they're in a great place. We got a tough task on Saturday, but we're at home. We feel confident that there's going to be a good crowd there, and it's just it'll be a joy on Saturday night to just go and play free and enjoy the moment.
How much of a positive effect have you seen on the guys in training this week, that time off at the beginning of the week?
Yeah, I mean, like the first day back, I just felt like there was a whole different buzz and energy to them. I think that was it. I mean, they got sleep, they got proper nutrition, like they just got rest. They looked rested, so that was good. And then I also then think that at the same time they weren't like settled, so they looked like they had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. In a way of like, hey, come on guys, like we got to go after this. We've got one game, and that's the only one we're focused on.
Does being at home your being away affect how you set the team up and how you kind of want them to play?
No, I say no because we always just try to look at the game as it is. Like I tried to tell them like block out the external noise. At home, I tried to almost like get them to not listen to it, but use it to give them more energy. So for the fans, like don't stop cheering. But I think that in terms of how we set the team up, we still try to play in a similar way. There might be different tactical adjustments we make playing away from home. If a team's really dominant in their places, but it's definitely a place that we want to start fast, be on the front foot, and play with intensity.
Will playing on a bigger pitch affect anything?
I don't know if the dimensions are any different.
I thought it was bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think we'd have to walk it out. Go back to Miami and walk it out after Saturday. But no, I don't know. I don't think that it might feel bigger in the bends, but yeah, it's not been a point of emphasis.
And when was it decided that Mosquera was going to undergo surgery?
I don't know. There was a lot of ongoing conversation because it's obviously a similar knee problem that he had before, which he didn't have surgery on, and but on the timeline of it, I don't know.
And Lennon's injury, was it a dislocated shoulder or was there more structural damage?
I don't know. I know that there's some issue because it popped out, but then from there, what they're actually doing to it, I left that to the doctors to make that decision. And probably not me.
Besides the size of the field, the fact that we play in turf here and they've been playing in regular grass, does it make any difference for the players?
I'm sure, yeah, the ball bounces a little bit different than it would on natural grass, but we've been used to playing on it. Miami has played on it in different games throughout their season. Tata would be very familiar with it, so yeah, like it's fast. It's a different surface, but ultimately it's the same for both teams, and both teams have to be ready to go.
Is there ever extra preparations because it may go to penalties? Do you practice differently? Do you actually put an emphasis on that, or you just kind of focus on the first 90?
The first 90, really. I think you've asked that question too as well. We've talked about that. During Leagues Cup, we emphasized it a lot because we knew that this was a format that we'd have to use. So we've already done it, I would say, throughout the year. Guys do stuff, little bits of extras after. So I feel like we're pretty well versed in how that might come, but ultimately, like the mindset should be we finish the game in 90 minutes. So if that moment comes, we will be prepared as a staff, like we were in Montreal for that as well. So that's not been an overemphasis on that.
How important is it to have veterans like Ronald Hernandez, Dax McCarty that will probably be important? Dax played down there, might play Saturday. Ronald might play Saturday. How important is it to have those guys to turn to when needed?
Yeah, I think it's super important. Like those guys are veterans and have played a lot of years for a good reason. They've been through situations and they've seen, I would say they've seen almost everything that could be thrown at them. So you can always, on the field, if they're playing, you can lean on those experiences and they can help lead by example. At the same time, if they're not playing, they can help lead by whether it's conversations with players on the bench or conversations with players as we're starting games. So yeah, those veteran players, those guys that have the experience of good and bad times, it's really important that they know they can. You're going to get a stable performance. So yeah, they're very important.
Is there, when you get into your pregame speech, it could be the final game for several folks on the team right now, depending upon what happens with options and everything in the offseason. Would that be a part of, I don't know, Band of Brothers type stuff you might use?
No, I mean, because it's been the same for all of us. Orlando could have been the final game. Montreal could have been the final game. Now we got that game in Miami. Like, yeah, we were guaranteed 2 games, but it's not really changed that. We've been talking about having the internal belief and blocking out all the external noise anyway. So that's been a message that we've stuck to. We try to treat each other with respect, like band of brothers, like you say, like a family anyways. But I don't use that word loosely because, yeah, we aren't family, but we spend a lot of time with each other. So it's about, treating each other with respect and making sure that, like, hey, hopefully this is not the last one. And, yeah, we try not to put that added pressure onto ourselves. We know what the moment is, and we also can't control the outcome. So we do everything we can to make sure that we put ourselves in the best position at the end of 90 minutes that we're successful.
And last one for me. after the first game, you had described the second goal, the set piece goal. Uh, it was a negative word. I can't remember exactly what that word was. But after watching back, and I've watched it several times, and trying to figure out whose responsibility was that to defend
everybody's.
all the.
I mean, it was the team's responsibility. We talked about defending the box in different ways. We had Saba was up a little bit higher to try to drag a player out. And then ultimately, when they did play short, like then rules can have to change a little bit. So we have to adapt, squeeze out of the box, not turn your back when you're going to step out to a kick. And he placed it perfectly anyway. So all those things being said, ends up being a fantastic goal. And whether somebody got there one mark wrong or for me, it's always the collective. Like we could have prevented that. Not only one person, but it could have been a couple of different guys that prevented it.
Do you feel like the experiences of last week, going through Decision Day and then Montreal and then the Game 1 in Miami, do you feel like it strengthened those bonds between a band of brothers kind of idea? Does it feel even stronger now after going through that?
Yeah, I'd imagine they feel a little bit closer. Those guys went through a lot, and to pull off what they did, I'd imagine feels really good. And yeah, when you go through hard times and you get a little bit of success, it feels great. So the adversity that they faced all year long, yeah, I think it strengthens the group, and hopefully that can push them for more of the season.
Okay, and that was interim manager Rob Valentino previewing the contest. Several points from what he said. Obviously, Brooks Lennon with that shoulder injury that we saw, and during the Miami matchup, we knew he wasn't going to play. If you saw that injury, looked pretty severe, and he confirmed that surgery has taken place, so he is out for the rest of the playoffs. Stien, leg injury once again. Just he's really struggled staying on the pitch consistently this year. And once again, a lower leg injury. He was practicing. We were at practice yesterday. He was off to the side with the trainer doing some drills. So we'll see what happens with him there. But once again, I mean, Atlanta United is a difficult matchup for them. I mean, they're facing Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez. They're in form. Just a really, really tough offensive team that Atlanta has to face. I mean, they had the best regular season in MLS history, winning the Commissioner's Cup. So they are the top regular season point getters in history of the league. So it's going to be a very tough matchup for Atlanta. We'll see what happens. Obviously, not having Lennon and not having Stien possibly for the entire contest is going to be really difficult on the defensive end for Atlanta. We've seen them push forward. We've seen Saba get some goals. Alexey has acclimated himself into the offensive end of things. But you saw Brad Guzan play the game of his career, or the match of his career, and Atlanta still lost. It's going to be very tough for him to match that effort if he has to against Miami upcoming on November 2nd. But we'll be keeping track of the contest and have some post-match thoughts. As always, to follow everything that we do, go to the mothership, thesportsinquirer.net. Premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can also go to our social media platforms at Twitter/X, Instagram, and Facebook. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our audio and video hosts, which include YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and more. Until next time, good fight, good night, and be safe.